Tony. All right. I can't remember last time we had a brand new baby in this room for a meeting, so thank you for bringing.
That's Silas Cordle.
Well, dude, I
It is
didn't,
Mama Parker.
I didn't-
Fine, I'm second rate now.
I didn't know they made cool coats that little. That's pretty cool. Welcome, everybody. We're glad you're here. So the first item we have on our agenda is a public meeting to consider the rehire of Aundrea Cordle as our county administrator. So the way we do these public meetings is we ask if there's anyone who wants to speak against a rehire. We ask if there's anybody who wants to speak in favor of the rehire, and anybody else who wants to make any kind of comment that's neutral is welcome to comment, and then we'll close the hearing, right? So is there anyone who would like to stand up and speak against the rehiring of Aundrea Cordle as our county administrator? Hearing none, is there anyone who would like to get up and speak in favor of Aundrea Cordle as being retained as our county administrator? Morning, Dr. Brown.
Good morning. I recall when I was in a similar situation as this employment decision, and there were people to be very encouraging to me, and I want to be that same encouragement for Ani and for the Board of Commissioners now. There are many complex decisions that come before a Board of County Commissioners, and hiring is one of them. I've known Ani for a long time. I've worked with her, I've supervised her, I've supported the creation of the deputy administrator position, encouraged her employment in that particular position, and encouraged her promotion to county administrator. I support the Board of Commissioners in their decision to retain Aundrea Cordle. It is the best decision for the county. It is the best decision for the Board of Commissioners. I appreciate the moment to say so.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to speak in favor of?
I'll second that. Thank you.
Jeremiah up for the record, seconded that. Clerk Brandon Meyer.
Good morning. I did sign a letter that was sent to the commissioners supporting the rehire of Administrator Cordle. Since I became clerk of courts, Ani has been extremely supportive. The office atmosphere I walked into, it was a constant. She served as the HR director at that time, and it was multiple phone calls per day that she dealt with me and the issues that I was facing at the time. So I wholeheartedly support this decision to allow her to rehire. I think it's definitely the best decision for the county.
Thank you. Anyone else who would like to speak in favor of? Anyone else who would like to make any type of comment whatsoever?
Mr. President,
Yes.
I just want to say that I support the rehire. I don't know what the words are, but I think we're very fortunate to have you as county administrator. I don't want to say stuff out loud or whatever about private conversations, but this was a decision I was shocked you didn't make quite some time ago. And happy to be supportive of it now.
Commissioner Levesey.
So, when Dr. Brown decided to move on as county auditor and leave the post of county administrator, I was like, oh boy, here we go. But Tony has stepped up to the plate and actually filled those shoes very well and done an excellent job. So I'm very grateful to have her.
So I was in a phone conversation yesterday with our former Congressman Steve Stivers, and we're talking about a couple issues that the Ohio Chamber's taken on, and he asked how Fairfield County was going, and I told him I thought things were great, that we're moving in the right direction on a lot of stuff, and he said, you guys have just an amazing team there, and I was just about saying that at the same time he was. It's true. We're very fortunate administratively, right, on our side of the business. We're incredibly fortunate to have had a great team for a number of years. And so the strength of leadership, going back to Dr. Brown's time as county administrator and continued with Aundrea's time now as county administrator, and the building of the team that supports all the work that we all do and that all the county does. I can't think of a better team anywhere in the state. And so we're very blessed. We're very fortunate. And yeah, this is unquestionably the, easiest vote I think that we'll ever make. So this hearing is closed. Sorry?
She kept correcting me, calling it a meeting.
He doesn't like that either.
See, we all think that when Steve talks. All right, this is a time for public comment. We ask that you keep your comments to 3 minutes. State your name and address at the podium. Open it up. Who would like to speak first? Morning.
Good morning. My name is Melissa Connor. I live at 7710 Cattail Road, outside of Pleasantville. For the past 4 years, I have learned more than I ever wanted to know about utility scale solar projects. I have done my best to drag all of you along with me, informing you of my findings so that you might be able to effectively represent us. Certainly, this issue fits the description Commissioner Fix mentioned last week when he spoke about the long-lasting generational issues that the board deals with daily. Mr. Fix has written, if we were to oppose this project prior to the Power Siting Board's hearing, we have been led to believe that there is a high likelihood that the court would then become involved in a lawsuit, one that we would very likely lose. There has never been a Board of Commissioners sued for issuing an opinion or intervening. In fact, the Ohio Power Siting Board clearly states that they want to know what the board's view is concerning the project, and we have discussed this. According to Bricker and Graydon's website, they state it like this. Beginning in 2022, OPSB for the first time denied solar projects for failing to meet the legal requirement that the project must be in the public interest. The basis for these 3 denials did not involve particular issues or impacts, but rather purported unanimous local government opposition to the projects. It seems clear to me that with 12 out of 13 townships asking that Eastern Cottontail be denied, that what your constituents want you to do, well, they want you to do the right thing. I believe the quote is, when you don't know what to do the right thing. It really is that simple. That you dance with the one who brought you. As a board, your allegiance has to be with the people of Fairfield County, the people of today and the generation of tomorrow. All this is to say that my heart broke when I read this in the Ohio Power Siting Board staff report on Friday afternoon. Staff notes that the Fairfield County Board of Commissioners has not acted to intervene in this case, nor has it filed any comment in opposition to the project. As such, staff does not feel that the local opposition in this case is especially prominent, one-sided, and compelling. The Ohio Power Siting Board staff would have recommended that Eastern Cottontail be denied. You had just spoken up. Now, I didn't write this, but I thought about this on my drive down here today, because there is good news. Hearing hasn't started. We would have liked for our opposition to have been voiced in the staff report, but it's not over yet. The hearing doesn't begin until January 27th, when the public hearing will convene at Pleasantville Elementary School. It will finish with the evidentiary hearing the week of March 4th. So, gentlemen, it's not too late. We very much would like to have your support. Thank you for your time this morning.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the commission this morning? All right. Thank you all for coming. Legal update. Thanks for being here, Amy.
I'm always happy to be here, Commissioner.
We're happy to have you. All right, county administration update, Bonnie.
Thank you. And Amy, we are going to keep the legal update on there, and there's
Oh, I know, we already.
no worries if there is
Amy and I had that conversation.
Okay,
all right, now
She's thrilled to have you on the agenda.
We can just glide right past it if need be. All right, we can review. I'll share with you all. Governor DeWine did sign the county omnibus bill, which will become effective April the 8th. So a number of things included in that bill, but 3 I will highlight for you today. One that I think Amy will be jumping up and down for joy over is it makes certain terms and conditions unenforceable if they are included in county contracts, including an indemnity clause, a requirement for binding arbitration, and the naming of a court or venue for legal actions outside of the county. So I know Amy and her team have spent countless hours over the years working with contracts to have that language removed. It's now that will just be unenforceable. So
Yeah, so it's just a matter of how, I guess I need to look how the state does it. If we just put on a letter saying it's in there, it doesn't apply to us. I mean, that's the question. That's the piece I'm not sure about, or if it still needs to come out, or just, it's an easier, obviously, support instead of saying an AG opinion and just kind of vague references to the Ohio Constitution, 7541 D1, just now say, it's not going to find it, what the new law will be. And again, that will be effective April 8th. So we'll still have to do our normal review, but it'll give us time to kind of develop our protocol moving.
gotcha. And CCAO is also going to be releasing a county advisory bulletin that will be helpful on all of these items here to help kind of maybe answer some of the questions that Amy has. Another one, I think John and Rochelle are both super excited about this one. It modifies notice requirements for county competitive bidding to allow publication in a newspaper's website, the state public notice website, or the county's website and social media account. This has been an obstacle in the past with timing, with that also how we're paying for it, and just the cost continues to escalate year over year. So looking forward to being able to implement that. And then lastly, children's services caseworkers educational requirements. So there's been a requirement in the Ohio Revised Code for individuals working within children's services as a caseworker to possess an undergraduate degree in a social work related area. It does give gives Corey the permissive authority to waive that requirement if an employee in good standing doesn't obtain that job-related bachelor's degree within 5 years of employment. So if someone they would hire does not come in with that right now, they would have 5 years to obtain that. So Corey could, on a case-by-case basis, waive that. Still wanting to have, the most highly qualified and educated folks there in that field. And I think that still allows for that. But over our time, and Heather and Sarah and Stacy are all nodding, we have encountered opportunities where a perfect person that would meet this waiver, this exception, that we've not been able to move forward. So we will work on the implementation of that. Any questions on that, commissioners? February 4th, 2025, that will be our first evening meeting of the year, and it will be here in the hearing room at 7 p.m. Review packet does contain a list of administrative approvals, and there are 33 resolutions on the agenda for the regular voting meeting today. There is a resolution for you all to consider the rehire of myself. That will be, the rehire would be taking effect February 1st with my retirement date being January 31st. We also have 2 resolutions appointing members to the Fairfield County Board of DD. Last week we had 4 great interviews. 2 of those folks are being put forth for you today to consider. Jason Booth would be for a 4-year term, which would expire December 31st, 2028, and Becky Shade to fill an unexpired term, which ends December 31st, 2025. They still would have opportunities for reappointments, just a little bit difference in how long they would be serving with that. Both of those individuals were contacted and are interested in that appointment. We have a resolution declaring the necessity to place a renewal of the existing DD levy on the May 6th primary special election ballot. David, do you want to say anything about the appointments or the levy necessity resolution?
Yeah, thank you very much. We appreciate the commissioner's support with regards to the resolution of necessity last week and the resolution to proceed this week. And then when it comes to, yeah, I did the same thing this morning, so.
Proceed, sorry.
And thank you for the process through which you work to appoint people to boards across the county. It wasn't long ago. This isn't how things worked. And the people of Fairfield County, and certainly the board that you appoint to, are the beneficiaries of the robust process by which you go through to interview and ensure we have good candidates. So I'm excited about the two that you have mentioned. We will welcome them to the board and have great confidence they will provide a great contribution. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. We have 5 resolutions transferring 2025 allocations. Economic Development has a resolution to amend the agreement with Hicks Partners for grant writing services. This amendment will continue that contract through December 31st, 2025. I was just on a call with them yesterday looking at grant opportunities. So happy you were able to get that renewed again for another year. Rick, anything to add?
No, thank you, Commissioners, for the support, and we've got lots of positive feedback from the villages and townships and some of the departments that have taken advantage of this, and take advantage of it because it's a great resource.
2 point what million?
2 point, oh, actually, we eclipsed 3. 3.1.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you. I appreciate your work with them on that. We also have a resolution from EMA to approve the 2025 Emergency Operations Plan and the signing of the promulgation statement. So we've got John here, but we've also got Garrett and Christy. Anything to add?
No, just our annual approval, and thanks for Garrett to step in there after Tiffany found her way to Pickaway County to make it happen, and we're still in search of a planner. We'll make it. Thank you, Garrett.
We appreciate both Christy and Garrett as well. Thank you. We also have a resolution from the engineer's office to approve weight reductions on 11 county and township roads. Jeremiah, I know this is routine. Anything you want to add to it?
No, it's just a provision provided by High Revised Code that allows us to reduce the weight on roads that don't have sufficient base, or a lot of times it's in areas where there's peat or something soft underneath of it. Just protects the road through the freeze and thaw when the road gets soft from those heavy loads.
Thank you very much. We also have 2 resolutions from regional planning regarding the Heron Crossing South subdivision in Violet Township. The first resolution is to approve a development agreement with MI Homes, and the second is to approve the final plat. I think I saw Josh. Josh, anything? Okay. And then lastly, we have several financial resolutions today, including 4 resolutions from utilities regarding debt service bond transfers. Bart, any budget review?
No, I think this would.
All right, thank you. Rochelle, calendar review and invitations received, please.
Thank you. The Family and Children First Council meeting will be this Thursday, January 16th at 8:30. The Lancaster Fairfield Community Action Agency Board of Directors meeting is also this Thursday Family and Children First is 8:30. Community Action is at 11:30. DACO member reception for the Nearest Faraway Place, Ohio's Painters, Makers, and Their Mentors exhibit is January 24th from 5:30 to 8. The following correspondence was received from the Commissioner's Office: a letter of support for the rehiring of Aundrea Cordle as County Administrator. Press release from the Health Department titled "The Fairfield County Health Department announces the 2024 Public Health Guardian Award." The Furtherance of Justice report from the County Prosecutor. The Fairfield County Recorder, Lisa McKenzie, sent a letter regarding filing fees for zoning resolutions. Correspondence from the Office of the County Auditor, and correspondence regarding industrial solar.
Thank you, Rochelle. That's all, Commissioner.
Updates from elected officials and department heads. Lisa McKenzie. All right, Brandon. Maya.
So we have the hoop put up and all the fabric on the salt barn. So the last thing we have to do is seal the cracks, or not cracks, but the expansion joints, not cracks. They're there so you don't see the cracks. But anyways, we have to seal those, and we have to have a situation where we're above freezing for so long that it has to be 40 degrees and rising beyond that. So we got to wait on that to happen. We'll get those joints sealed up, and that thing's ready to roll. Again, we really appreciate it. It's going to make a big impact for the services we provide here.
And then it does have some pictures he's working on popping up there.
Yep.
We can go ahead. We don't have to wait.
Okay. Dr. Brown.
It's encouraging to see the November sales tax. It's up 4% over the prior year. That's 1 month here in January. It's a good way to start the year out. So very encouraged about that. Tax estimator for property taxes has been updated on our website. Even though you don't don't have your bills yet, you can go on the website, you can see the exact amount that you will be charged. I want to say thank you to the Treasurer's Office for their coordination as we move through this process. And especially say thank you to Noel Souders and Josh Harper for their late night work, several nights, well beyond midnight, so that we didn't interrupt processes in order to make sure that continued coordination continued. The CAUV applications are out, and we are here for questions about those. This is the first round for the CAUV applications. Positive communication about our retreat. We did a partially of it virtual and partial of it together, and we're providing some updates about our strategic plan, which has been posted. And during that retreat, we also were very happy to recognize the graduation of the NACO Leadership Academy for Clayton Finley, Missy Clark, Michelle Poston, Kayla Speakman, and Amanda Rollins. And the second course for Leading on Purpose with Rachel Elsey and Michelle Wright, and the graduation of Kayla Speakman from the Chambers Leadership Academy. We received 2 nice notes and thanks from Athens County for the checklist we provided to them for financial closing. For the first time ever, they've been able to close their books on December 31st and open again in January. So they were very excited about the checklist. And then also thanks from Logan County, who are using our BOR rules and regulations and are proceeding with some improvements in their area there too.
So I had the opportunity to participate in the board of revision meeting yesterday with Dr. Brown, and we talked about how the materials that her office has created are being used around the state. It's just another example of how Fairfield County continues to lead. So thank you, Dr. Brown, for all of that. Anthony.
The only thing I have is Greenfield Township is having a land use plan update on February 5th. We did have it February 20th, but I think they realized there's a game that day, or January 20th, but I think they realized there's a game that day. So February 5th will be that, and I'm going to attend. And
I probably will too.
all that.
All right.
Can you share the calendar invite with you?
But I put it on mine, so I'll send that.
Thank you.
Great.
The City of Lancaster, with support from the TID and others, received an $800,000 raise grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation, one of 2 awarded in the state of Ohio, and that's for an East Side Industrial Connector to do a feasibility study on a better way to get truck traffic out of downtown Lancaster and connecting it to 33 from the east side. So with things like Surba and the growth that's happening in the East Side Industrial Park, very, very important to that. And the other thing is, obviously, you mentioned the game coming up next Monday. Those of you that saw Friday night, Jack Sawyer, who a Pickerington grad, his mom works at the Workforce Center for Pickerington Schools. She is there. She helped with starting the career readiness program and has been an integral part of what we're doing at the Workforce Center since the day it opened. So she was beaming yesterday as she came in, and everybody was hitting her up, talking to her, and she's like, "I'm so behind on work. I need to get to work." Jeff, I know you know.
Yeah, so they're a great family. Known them since Jack was, I think, 6 or 7, starting in the PYA football league, playing with one of my best friend's younger sons, and got to know them, and couldn't be happier for Jack, who's really worked incredibly hard through the years to become the player that he is, and for him to have that opportunity was really cool. I started yelling as soon as he picked up the ball. I'm yelling at my TV as loud as I can, like he can hear me all the way in Texas. And it took him so long to get to the end zone that my voice was almost gone by the time he got there. But really thrilled for the family, thrilled for Jack, and wish them good luck next Monday.
So I've known Jack and since he was a little tiny thing, and now he's this big monster. So he's pretty amazing. And one other note, East Side Connector, let me see, that discussion started in the 50s. And it's still going on.
70 years later. Someday it'll happen.
Well, got $800,000 for it, so we're starting to see some movement.
Mr. Coaches.
Nothing too much other than we've got some initial designs and costs back on Sheridan, so we should be getting ready to go on that. But looking forward to building the conference center. Ancillary things out there. And Isn't that target deadlines?
September 30th, the state of the county.
Thank you. Please give me every day.
Conference center. Well,
No pressure, John.
No pressure.
it will be.
Smile. Like, these are 12, but we'll be there. No, I'm kidding. We're gonna get it done.
Not funny, John.
Dan Neely.
From the IT department standpoint, just a word of note, County Auditor has mentioned it a couple times. I was participating in the same AI leadership program, and we're going to be looking at some implementation of AI and putting some policy around that, working with Jeff Porter from a risk management standpoint for the county. Try and build some of that out so we can be ahead of the game and not behind. Is it?
Thank you, Dan. Corey?
Last week I updated on the ending of the SNAP benefits replacements. And you asked how much we had replaced in Fairfield County. We have replaced $180,000 worth of SNAP benefits since the beginning of that ability to replace those. So it comes out to an average of about $10,000 a month that we were replacing.
And our ability to do that's now gone.
That's correct. As of the end of December.
And these crimes continue.
Yes.
So just an interesting note, and I had a discussion with the director of JFS, and he said if the federal government would provide and allow for chips to be embedded in those cards, they would eliminate 90% of that, and they failed to do so. But that's all.
Yeah, that's very frustrating because that seems like an easy fix.
All right. Well, thank you for that update, and hopefully they'll get to that fix at some point. Jeff Porter.
Thank you. From the HR standpoint, I know that today we've talked about the rehire of the county administrator, but from an HR standpoint, I think it's very important that we focus on the fact of what brought us here, and that is 35 years of public service by this individual. I think that's a round of applause.
She told me she's 142.
Yeah, well, she belies her age. She looks really good for that. But this is something from the perspective of Fairfield County that's not unique. We have long-standing employees here who have dedicated their lives to public service with Fairfield County, and we're very lucky in that. So congratulations to Administrator Cordle, and congratulations to the commissioners for having those folks. And one final note in relation to the dog shelter. Frosty the dog is still on the loose, if you're hearing about Frosty, but we are trying to find him out there. He's a big white Pyrenees dog, Burmese dog, so we're still trying to find Frosty.
Camouflaged by the snow.
Correct. And get your dog licenses before the 31st. So there you go.
All right. Thank you all for all of that. Old business, Commissioner Davis, Commissioner Levacy.
So last week I spoke about trying to put together with others a Fairfield County Veterans Hall of Fame. So we actually are going to have our first meeting today to get that process rolling. So hopefully sometime in the future we can have Fairfield County can have its own military Hall of Fame that we can recognize almost 10,000 veterans here in Fairfield County, and there's some great ones that have contributed a lot to the success of Fairfield County. We want to recognize.
All right. For me, for old business, we had an opportunity to be interviewed by Morpsey and Planning Next. Morpsey is working on trying to help local governments, including counties, townships, villages, and other municipalities in the planning process for land use. And so they did an interview with me to talk about the Fairfield plan, how we've gone about doing it, and how we might be helpful to other local governments to get their planning process moving. I had the opportunity to go to the Soil and Water Conservation District. There she is. I thought I saw in swearing a new board member or a returning board member. Always happy to do that. And really, that is because of the deep appreciation that this board has for all the people who volunteer their time and talents to all the different boards we appoint to. Anytime we're asked to participate in a swearing in or anything like that, we're happy to do it. So thank you, Nikki, for the opportunity for that. Had a good meeting with our state representative, Jeff Luray, in his office. He was sick, so he was on via phone, but we met with folks from the governor's office and from the state, I know I'm going to say this wrong, but Children and Youth Services. Is that close? All right. And Dr. Marie Ward, who's in charge of our Education Service Center, and I think is brilliant, to talk about daycare, right? We've sat up here for a long time and talked about workforce development. We've talked about transportation. I've been talking about housing until people are tired of hearing about it. Jeremiah and the TID working on infrastructure, and the next, natural barrier for people to actually be able to work to their full potential is daycare. And so Dr. Ward and I have been talking for about 6 months. Jeff Luray joined the conversation about 4 or 5 months ago. We're now taking it to the next level. CCO is becoming involved. The Ohio Chamber of Commerce, former Congressman Stivers, is becoming involved. So it feels like there's a little bit of momentum at the state level to do something about universal childcare or some kind of childcare program. We advocated for 2 things. One is that Marie has a vision for a centralized daycare center over by the Eastern Fairfield school that the school could use to train their kids in daycare, and that people from all around the county could bring their children for affordable daycare and for DD kids as well. That's one ask, and that's a capital ask. The second portion of it is what's called the Tri-Share program, where the state pays 1/3 of the cost of daycare, the employer pays 1/3 of the cost of daycare, and the parents pay 1/3 of the cost of daycare. And Rick Zabrak was instrumental in that meeting as well, and talked about that there are the state folks talked about there are places that are already talking about this. They tried to do something in Columbus and Franklin County, and they didn't get really a lot of positive response from the business community. Rick's already been recruiting businesses to participate in something like this. So we feel like, again, Fairfield County is a little bit ahead of the game. And so those folks from the state left that meeting saying Fairfield County is raising its hand, saying we want to be part of a pilot program. Don't know where all that's going to go. Just wanted to put it out there that we're focused on that as a project and an opportunity, and hope to have more to report coming down the road.
Commissioner, that's one of our number one priorities on the governor's workforce board is child care.
The last thing I want to do, I hadn't planned to read this, but this email was quoted in part earlier, so I want to read the entire email so the entire context is available. This was in response to an email sent to me by a constituent that said perhaps some unpleasant things. My response was, thanks for your note, though I have to say I don't appreciate the tone. Lacking courage, hiding, not doing a good job taking care of the county. Those are pretty serious things to throw around. And while I can't speak for my fellow commissioners, I can tell you that I find those phrases offensive. We take our responsibility to be good stewards of the county and its resources very seriously. And we take our responsibility to our constituents, every one of them, very seriously as well. The math you present is slanted, as if every resident of all those townships and villages are anti-solar or at least against the Eastern Cottontail project. I'm willing to bet anything you like, that nowhere near 69% of the population of Fairfield County even knows what the Eastern Cottontail project is, much less lines up against it. Again, not speaking for my colleagues, just for myself. Here are the reasons that I've decided not to write a letter opposing Eastern Cottontail. Number one, as Commissioner Davis has explained on numerous occasions, we've not heard all the evidence yet. He likens what you're asking us to do to a judge saying something along the lines of, well, I know he's guilty, but let's have a trial. The people who own the land and have signed leases with the Eastern Cottontail Project are constituents as well. Anything we will do will have an impact on all of them, as well as all of their neighbors. I'm sure you wouldn't appreciate me taking some action on the land that you own without your having an opportunity to have your say. Number two, I personally feel that we owe it to Commissioner Davis, who will be representing the county to the Power Siting Board, to not put him in a position where the county's position is already baked in. For 2+ years now, he has worked really hard to stay neutral in all of this, specifically so he could participate in those meetings in a way that would allow him to hear the evidence and make a decision based on all the evidence that is presented to the board. Number three, the advice of counsel thing is real. If we were to oppose this project prior to the Power Siting Board's hearing, we've been led to believe that there's a high likelihood that the county would then become involved in a lawsuit, one that we would very likely lose. To me, that would be an egregious waste of taxpayer money, as well as a significant time suck. Number four, toward that end, any energy, time, or financial resources that we put against this takes away from some of the very significant issues facing our county. I know that you're aware of the effort that the three of us and our staff and other elected officials have put into creating good jobs, a workforce development center that can get people ready to fill those jobs, a transportation system that will get those trained people to those jobs, workforce housing that will allow those people to have a place to live that they can actually afford, infrastructure improvements that will make it easier for all of us to get to work, and a daycare system that will make it financially reasonable for people to go to work instead of staying home because they can't afford to. Now, I'm just guessing here, but I'd be willing to bet that if you asked all the residents of Fairfield County, not just the 85 that own property around this project, or the 1,288 that live within a mile of it, if you asked everyone if the commissioners should spend their time, energy, and resources fighting a lawsuit over a solar field, or should they focus on this list of projects designed to get people to work, I guess I know how that would turn out. I hate that we have to have this conversation. I hate that SB 52 put all of us in this position. I hate that there's not some type of required disclosure when a solar company starts this process, so we're not all 2 years behind when we find out what's going on. I hate that the solar question pits neighbors against each other and has respectable people like you saying the things you've said in your email. Our county, our state, our country, we need lots of energy. We'll soon be running short. We need an all-the-above attitude with our federal, state, and local governments. Nobody wants to live in the middle of a solar field. I get it. There's no good answer here. You also know that I'm willing and happy to visit with anyone at their home to discuss any concern they have. You and I have done that. Suggesting that next time you want to send an email like this, that perhaps instead you give me a call. You're highly unlikely. Sorry, it just flipped out on. You're highly unlikely to get what you want from any of the three of us when you start out being offensive. I know you're smart, passionate, and willing to put time and effort into your community. I respect that, asking the same of you in return. So I just wanted that in the record because I want to be really clear where I am, not speaking for either of the two gentlemen to my right. That's where I am on this solar issue. New business, Commissioner Davis.
I'm sure there are a couple folks here today who think I maybe shouldn't have come, and I think that might be true. But there were a couple things on the agenda today that were seemingly very important, and I didn't want to miss them. So if I gave anybody anything, I'm very sorry.
Thanks, I get said next
Let's get over this a little bit. Thank you for being here today, sir. Seriously. Commissioner Levesey.
So I don't have anything that affects county business, but January 20th is going to be one of the most amazing days that any of us have ever experienced. We have the inauguration. We have Martin Luther King Day, who was a great, great person, great American. And we also have the Buckeyes playing Notre Dame. I mean, you can't get any better than that, right? So now it could if the Buckeyes need to win to make it the best day ever. So,
and there needs to be pizza. Okay, sorry. Any other new business? For me, we have a meeting this week with Morpsey, Jeremiah, and the TID and I are continuing our conversations with them about infrastructure needs for our county, including the potential 3370 connector. And then I and others have a meeting with the Ohio Business Roundtable about what's going on from a development standpoint. So lots going on.
We do have some of the pictures that Jeremiah had sent, and he just sent some new ones that actually have the today. I didn't get those over to Bennett, but there you can see a little bit of it, but it's come along.
Is that you in the lift, Jeremiah?
No.
It's, yeah, I know you have to go through your, fix the seal the cracks and so on. I get it because salt is very detrimental to concrete. I mean, it absolutely destroys it. But man, it'd be nice if I was working right now, right?
Well, right now, while we're going through it, I can set it outside and not worry about it too much because it comes and goes. We have to store it out there for very long. That's where it becomes a problem.
It becomes one big chunk of salt.
Yeah.
We'll break it up.
Well, that and you have runoff issues and, environmental stuff.
Sure.
All right. Well, we're excited for that to be done. Any other business before we go to our voting session? All right. We're going to stay down here. If you all would please rise if you're in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Rochelle, any announcements?
Just that what you have in front of you for the agenda is an updated agenda. If anyone is looking at the one that went out at 5 p.m. yesterday, there has been a change.
All right. Is there a motion for the approval of the reorganization meeting minutes from January 7th?
So moved.
Any discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Is there a motion for the approval of the review and regular meeting minutes for January 7th?
So moved.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion passes. Rochelle, I'll turn it over to you.
From the Commissioners, Resolution 2025-1.14.a, a resolution to approve the rehiring of Aundrea Cordle as County Administrator.
Is there a motion?
Motion approved.
Second.
All right. Discussion.
President.
Yes.
So I know this was covered in the earlier meeting. Of course, I support resolution. Support Bonnie have for a number of years. County is extremely fortunate to have her service. Thank you.
Any further discussion? I couldn't agree more with Commissioner Davis.
Well said.
We are very fortunate to have you and look forward to at least 10 years of your continuing service.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Also from the Commissioners, Resolution 2025-1.14.b, a resolution approving the appointment of Mr. Jason Booth to the Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities.
Under Commissioners, I move resolutions B through L.
Second.
Discussion?
Yes. I'm going to support resolutions B and C, which are the appointments to the Board of Developmental Disabilities. And I do think those are two excellent candidates. It's just keeps getting harder and harder with some really good people that want to be involved and want to be helpful. Benefit from the competitions that have been occurring for these appointments. I think it's a good thing. It's just not an easy thing. And those two other candidates were outstanding. And it's just hard. Thank you.
I'd like to give appreciation to Bennett. He runs point on the appointment process and engages with the candidates and communicates. So thank you, Bennett, for your work there.
So again, echoing what Commissioner Davis said, we are in a fortunate position to have a lot of people in Fairfield County who are talented and want to give their time to our volunteer board. Make a positive impact on the Board of Developmental Disabilities. And every time we have the opportunity to appoint, it feels like we have great people. So any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis? Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Economic and Workforce Development, Resolution 2025-1.14.m. A resolution to authorize an amendment to the agreement for grant writing services.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
You know, this grant writing that we provided to those throughout the county, I think it's been probably one of the most positive things we've done. So thanks, Rick, for your leadership in that.
And he's continued to have conversations. I know, I think you in a previous meeting, Commissioner Levesey had expressed interest in seeing how we could be helpful to some maybe community nonprofits. It's not specifically their wheelhouse, but they're looking at ways where they could be helpful through us to others in the county that are not a city, a township, or a county entity.
I think many times grant writing is very intimidating and consequently people, organizations or whatever, really miss a lot of opportunities because they don't know how to do it, follow the process. So.
Everybody has their own jobs to do, and then when you add
Right.
Right.
Well, we talk all the time about stronger townships, stronger villages make for a stronger county. $3.1 million into those townships and villages makes us a stronger county. So appreciate the continued efforts. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yeah.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From the Fairfield County Emergency Management Agency, Resolution 2025-1.14.n. A resolution authorizing an account-to-account transfer for EMA Fund 2890 HMEP Grant 2024-2025.
Under Fairfield County Emergency Management Agency, I move resolutions N and O.
Second.
Any discussion?
I want to give a shout out again to both Garrett and Christy, two employees who are, anytime we ask for something or for them to step up, they both do. So I appreciate that. Garrett's wearing multiple hats as well as Christy right now. So thank you both.
You're here. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. The Fairfield County Engineer, Resolution 2025-1.14.p. A resolution to appropriate from unappropriated in a major expenditure object category, County Engineer 2024 motor vehicle for vacation time payout.
Under Fairfield County Engineer, I move resolutions P, Q, and R.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. From Fairfield County Family and Children First Council, Resolution 2025-1.14.s. Resolution to approve a memo expense memo receipt for the cost of checks deposited from Nationwide Children's Hospital paid to Fairfield County Board of Developmental Disabilities as a memo expenditure for Fund 7521.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? I'm sure they appreciate that. Any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. For Fairfield County Job and Family Services, Resolution 2025-1.14.t. A resolution to approve a memo receipt and expenditure for Fairfield County Job and Family Services Fund 2015 reimbursing Fund 2018.
Under Fairfield County Job and Family Services, I move resolutions T through Y.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. For Fairfield County Regional Planning Commission, Resolution 2025-1.14.z. A resolution to approve a developmental agreement for the Heron Crossing South Subdivision.
Under Fairfield County Regional Planning Commission, I move resolution C and AA.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes, Mr. President.
Yes.
I'm concerned I might not be looking.
Yeah, there was an updated agenda that was provided earlier this morning.
All right, I'll just play along like I know what's going on. I can do that.
There's a joke there, but I'm going to pass on it since you're obviously not feeling well. Next resolution, please, Rochelle.
The Fairfield County Sheriff Resolution 2025-1.14.BB, a resolution approving an account-to-account transfer into major expenditure object category.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0.
Mr. President,
Yes.
Michelle handed me the updated agenda before the meeting. I threw it on my desk and didn't look at it.
Okay. All right, Rochelle, back to you.
For Fairfield County Utilities, Resolution 2025-1.14.CC, resolution authorizing fund-to-fund transfer from the Greenfield Water Fund 5841 to 5846 debt service payments for 2025.
Under Fairfield County Utilities, I move resolution CC, ED, EE, and FF.
Discussion. Like to hear that. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis? Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. Payment of bills, Resolution 2025-1.14.GG, a resolution authorizing the approval of payments of the vouchers without appropriate carryover purchase orders and the cash disbursement for all departments that are approved by the Commissioners.
Is there a motion?
There is a motion. I so move.
Second. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Levesey?
Yes.
Commissioner Davis?
Yes.
Commissioner Fix?
Yes.
Motion passes 3-0. The next regular meeting is scheduled for January 21st at 9 a.m.
Congratulations, Ani. Well deserved. Forward to your continuing service. It's nice to see your family here in support.
Thank you.
Is there any other business before the commission? Not, I'm looking for a motion.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, we're adjourned. Thank you all very much for coming today.
10 o'clock. Not bad.
Yeah.
Gary.
Yeah.